वैष्णववृंद की जय। रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप धाम की जय। स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the Assembly Lord. All glories to the Assembly. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So today's morning class will be given on Srimad Bhagavatam 6/1/25, date May the 25th in 1976, location Honolulu. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 6/1/25 on May the 25th, 1976 in Honolulu.
Seven?
25. It's about time.
25. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam 10-6, chapter 1, verse number 25. Sa Bhaddharidaya Tasmin Sa Bhaddharidaya Tasmin Adbhake Kalabhasini Adbhake Kalabhasini Sabhaddharidayastasmin Adbhake Kalabhasini Nirikshamana Sallila Nirikshamana Sallila Mumudi Jaratho Vrisam Mumudi Jaratho Vrisam Nirikshamana Sallila Mumudi Jaratho Vrisam Sabhaddharidayastasmin Adbhake Kalabhasini Nirikshamana Sallila Mumudi Jaratho Vrisam. So, the youngest child was very dear, everyone's sneha. Sneha, another meaning of sneha is oil, liquid. So, sneha means affection. With this sneha word is used, that there is a liquid, goes to down. Liquid does not go up. Slow. Similarly, we have got some affection. The affection goes to the lowest. Therefore, father and mother's affection generally goes to the youngest. So, here also Ajami, although he is a cheat, he is a rogue, he is a thief, he has learnt all the bad quality, but still the sneha, the affection, that is not lost. So this is natural. Similarly, we have got a natural feeling for Krishna. If we study thoroughly, That is called meditation. That whom I love. Say for the first time, I love my body. If there is some danger, I try to protect myself from the danger. That means I love my body. So, the next question will be, then why don't you love a dead body? Suppose your wife or husband you love, because the husband or wife is in the body, Dehinasmin yatha dehi. So, I love the body because the spirit soul is there. This is right conclusion. Otherwise, who is going to love a dead body? Nobody. Now, if one's husband has died or son has died, he is crying. Now, you can say that why you are crying. No, my son is gone, my husband is gone. No, my God, it is lying here. No, he is not. So, after death, we understand that this dead body is neither my husband nor my son. Late experience. But in the beginning, there is no such experience. That is called illusion. You will understand it, that this dead body is not neither my father nor my husband nor my son. He is different from. And that is practical example. Otherwise, why not take the dead body of your husband or son and keep it? No, that is not possible. So it is clear that the soul is different from the body. But because we are fools and understand, we learn it after death. That is foolishness. Not in the beginning. In the beginning, the Bhagavad Gita said, Krishna said, that asmin dehe, within this body, the soul is. No, I don't know. The dull brain cannot understand. But after that, he sees, yes, the body is not my son, body is not my husband. So, that is foolishness. A foolish person understands late. An intelligent person understands very quickly. There is a difference. So, I love my body, I love my husband body or wife's body. Why? The real husband, wife or son is within the body. Therefore, then the conclusion is that the soul is important more than the body. Then the question will be, so why you love the soul? Then the answer will be, because the soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna says, Mami Vamsu Jiyuta. So ultimately the conclusion is that I love Krishna. And because the soul is part and parcel of Krishna, therefore I love this soul. And because the soul loves within this body, therefore I love. There is no difficulty to understand. But so long one is under illusion, he is under the bodily concept of life. Therefore, Shastra says that one who is in the bodily concept of life, he is enemy. He is enemy. Jasātu buddhi kunape tidhākute sadhip kalatra disubhamu imjadhi Jattirtha buddhi salilena karhichit janesu avidyesu saiva gokhara. Gokhara, go means cow and khara means ass. I repeatedly say this. So, unless we understand that I or you, we are not this body, and there is no question of spiritual understanding or spiritual education. So, here the Ajami, because although he was a Brahmin, but due to association of a prostitute, he lost everything. This is the version we have already studied. That Karnakunti Dijaprasthi Dasipati Ajamila Namna Nasta Sadachar. Sadachar. Sadachar, just like we are teaching Sadachar. Rise early in the morning, take your bath, change your cloth, wash your mouth, and then go to the duty room and have Mangalarati, then study so many. Simply Sadachar. Sadachar means, Sat means that will exist. And Achara means behavior. Sadachar. So here it is said that Ajamila, he became the husband of a prostitute. It is not the Shastric injunction. You can become husband, but not the husband of a prostitute. Then your life is finished. Nasta Sadachar. You'll be lost all the behavior. Therefore so much stress is given that wife should be chaste and the husband should be very well behaved. Then life will be successful. And Arjuna argued with Krishna that you are asking me to kill my brothers and relatives on the other side. So don't you think that if I kill them, their wives will be widows and they will be polluted. And as soon as they will be polluted, there will be Varna Sankar. Varna Sankar, the practical example of Varna Sankar is the hippie in Japan. No caste, no creed, neither useful for the material world, neither useful for the spiritual. That is called Varna Sankar. That is said by Arjuna, Strishu Dustasu Varna Sankara Vyabhati. My dear Krishna, you are asking me to kill my, there will be widow and there will be polluted and there will be Varna Sankar. And what is the loss? When there will be Varna Sankar, then the whole world will be hell. It will be no more suitable for habitation of gentlemen. Finished. Therefore in the Vedic civilization, two things are very much stressed. To teach the man from childhood how to become expert in sadachar. And the women are trained now how to become chaste. So this chaste woman and the sadachar, brahmana, idealist brahmana, if they combine, then there will be peace, there will be progress, there will be peace in the society, peace in the family. There is a poet in English, society, friendship and love, divinely bestowed upon. But that society is not this society. If we become husband of the prostitute, no, that is not possible. Then sadachara will be finished. Namna sadachara. Vyasya samsarga duhi. As soon as you become associated with prostitute, then everything will be lost. Sadachara lost means your progress in spiritual life is lost. Therefore, we are stressing so much on the 4 points. No illicit sex, no nudity, no intoxication, no guilt. This is the way. If you are serious, but if you take it as a fashion, that is another thing. But if you take it seriously to progress, then these things should be learned. This is the basic principle of spiritual progress. Otherwise, we shall learn Bandhakai Kaitavaicha Jai Garhitam Vrittimasita Vibhrat Kutumba Vibhrat Kutumba Asuchi. Asuchi. Asuchi means unclean. Spiritual life means purification. So if you purify and again become unclean, that we have discussed, Hastishna, the elephant. Elephant takes bath very nicely and as soon as come on the shore, takes some dust and so on. Kunjala Sauchava. Parikshit Maharaj said, what is this? Oh, cleaning. But without cleaning, your life is spoiled. If you don't clean your life, then you will have to accept another body according to karma. We have to accept. But the whole human mission is to stop this repetition of birth. They do not know. There is no science, there is no philosophy, there is no education throughout the whole world. But the aim of life is to stop these 4 things. Birth, death, old age. They cannot think of. Yeah? Birth can be stopped. They cannot think of. They are trying in a different way. Contraceptive method of killing the child. That is not the way of stop this. No. Nature's law is so strong that if you kill the child in the home, then you will be also killed. You will be also killed. Tit for tat. There is no escape. Life for life, just like in the law. You cannot do that. So this is very important things to understand. We are thinking very free, but no. That's a prakritikyamanani kuni karmani sarvas. Exactly. Karanam gunasangasya. It's like if you contaminate some disease, you must suffer from it. That is natural law. You cannot avoid. There is no escape. So similarly, this spiritual life, this human life is a chance that you learn how to purify yourself. That is human life. And if you don't purify yourself, you remain impure without any endeavor, then what is the difference between you and cats and dogs? There is no. So, Kutumba Bharane Asuchi Jatayamasa De. So in that Asuchi Brata also, the Sneha is there. So this Ajami, although began the robe number 1, but the affection, natural, that is there. Affection is there. Sarabhakta Hridaya Tasmin Advaki Kalavas, attract. The child is talking in broken language. That is very pleasing. Pleasing to everyone, especially to the parents. So, Nirikshamana, and he is walking, or he is crawling, he is coming to the father, coming to the mother, and these things very attractive, and we become more and more attracted, and we forget our real business. The real business should always be remembered. These things are natural, it is very good. Be affectionate to your children, but don't forget your real business. Otherwise, this kind of affection is there in cats and dogs also. Cats and dogs will find they carry the cat, they carry the, what is called, kitty,
Kitten.
on the mouth. They have no hand, and they give protection to the. So one thing is for his kitties and one thing is for the. Similarly, Nishinga there, one thing for the Hiranyakashipu, one thing for Buddha. So that is not God's discrimination, but that is natural. That is natural. He says, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Samoham sarvabhutesu. I'm equal to everyone. Otherwise, if he is not equal to everyone, how he can be God? If he is partial to somebody and affectionate to some, no. That is not God's business. God is equal to everyone. Samoham sarvabhutesu. Name desastima priya. Nobody is my enemy and nobody is my friend. But still, jetu bhajanti mama pritya tesu te mai. But anyone who is devotee, I take special care for him. The same thing. That the cat carries in the mouth, the cat as well as the mouse. The mouse, for mouse it is death, and for the cat it is pleasure. Similarly, Hiranyakashipu, when it is captured by Nishingadeva, his death, Padanakha, Karakamale, Nakamadabhuta Singha, Dalita Hiran, immediately finished. The same head on the head of Prahlad Maharaj, my dear child, be blessed. The same head. This is the position. So we should try to purify ourselves from sinful activity so that Nishingadeva may keep his hand on blessing. Yes. That is wanted. Then our life is successful. Otherwise, nature will not excuse mrittu aham, mrittu sarva harascha ham. Hiranyakashipu will be killed. Demons will be. That is true business of Krishna. Paritranaya sadhana vinashaya jiniskita. To kill the demons, of course, any demon killed by Krishna, he also gets salvation. But if the demon also gets salvation, being killed, but just imagine what is the position of devotee to whom Krishna is so affectionate. Just imagine what is his position. And his name is Bhaktivedanta. Krishna's name is very much affectionate to the devotee. So, you have taken Krishna consciousness movement. Take it seriously, follow the rules and regulations, then Krishna will give you all protection. The Kaunteya Pratiyanihi Name Bhakta Pranasati. If you are a sincere devotee, it is very easy thing to become devotee. Simply, 4 things. Manvana Bhavaman Bhakta Madhyaji Manavas. A child, they are learning. They are also offering a flower. Madhyaji. This is worship. If a child can do it, you cannot do it. What is the difficult? If you offer a flower to the deity, if you offer your obeisances, the child is learning. Don't think it is going for nothing. Everything is calculated. Here this child is offering obeisance. Credit. Is offering flower. Credit. This is so. Yes. So from the childhood, if one becomes simply deposits credit, then someday it will be a big balance. with good bad balance. So therefore this institution made to give everyone the chance to do these four things. Manmana bhavaman bhakta majjarima. And Krishna says, Mameva sasi asamsaya. Without any doubt, simply by doing these four things, he'll come back to me. So what is the difficult? Do it properly and be happy and given.
When the speaking is short, usually we tend to remember. Prabhupada he is actually very intelligent how to impregnate the message of Krishna consciousness in very short words so that we can remember. That's the whole point. Sometimes we get lost in translation, in long class, long discussion, long seminars. Isn't it difficult to remember everything? For example, this is like a test. Actually, it was myself, that I suggested about 30 years ago to start to have discussions. I suggested on the council to Akandari Prabhu, and because it's nice to discuss on what Prabhupada, you read Prabhupada Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. There is a Prabhupada purport, but it's nice also to stipulate some discussions, because otherwise the class, we all go away and we tend to forget also. And it's nice to churn up the nectar to remember more, on what Prabhupada said. So it's a test, for us to see really if we are attentive to the words of the founder Acharya. Otherwise, why we joined? If we don't take his message, his teachings seriously, then we're making a hole in the water, isn't it? If we don't, nothing happen. Now, Prabhupada started the class. This was in Honolulu, the 6th canto, the pastimes of Ajamil, calling up, being affectionate to his own child, Narayan. 6th canto, chapter 1, text 25. And Prabhupada started the word with a Sanskrit word. Does anybody remember? Yes, correct. Sneha. And what does sneha mean to you? Uh-huh. Yeah. And also affection, attachment. This sneha is in the heart of everyone. We can dovetail the sneha towards a body. Prabhupada in the next, he said, but we have to be careful. In this case, was a sneha towards the child. Usually it's towards children, mainly. But he said, but if this affection is towards the body, then we're missing the point of human life. Why do we love the body? Because there is something, what did he say? Because there is it's embodied by the soul. This was Prabhupada the second statement. We love the body because the soul is present. Otherwise, it's illusion to be attached to something that today is here, tomorrow is not here. Illusion, it's temporary matter. And then Prabhupada, of course, Deinos minyataha dehe, he quoted that verse. The soul is important, Prabhupada said, more than the body. And Ajamil, he had this, how did he start his, to fall down? What did he, what was the cause of his fall down? Prabhupada mentioned, yeah? What was it? Because he became attached to a prostitute, yeah? And being attached to a prostitute, then he lost all his Brahminical, all his Prabhupada sadachar, the Vedic sadachar, all his training, everything that he learned from the Brahmins, teachers, from the philosophy, from the Vedic culture was actually covered, you can say, or lost. And but why? And Prabhupada, he said that one should not marry a prostitute. Why? Yeah, life is finished. Because a prostitute you can't trust. It's not chaste. And of course, we can say that not in condemnation, because Prabhupada didn't qualify this statement, because you have to see the circumstances of a situation, why someone is given to prostitution, or why, sometimes there is because the fault of the man, by, you could say, human trafficking, or you can say that because war, another example, Prabhupada went into it. Arjuna, he didn't want to fight for this reason. Why did he want to fight? And he quoted a verse, Prabhupada. I can start it for you. Adharma bhi bhavat Krishna pradusyanti kulastriya. And Prabhupada went on the fourth line, Strisu dustrasu varshneya jayate varana sankara. Arjuna could foresee that, if we kill all these men, then the women, they will be unprotected. Then again, you see, then unprotected, what it means. Then they'll be forced into prostitution. Everyone will take advantage of these vulnerable women. And then what happened? What society you get? Unwanted progeny. The children who are, Prabhupada says, those children will take the path of sinful life and not sadachar. The old Vedic education, Prabhupada said, is aimed to raise the children as a sadachar and the women as a chaste. But it's not up to them, really. It's the men, they have to play their part. The contribution of the man is to protect the women. If you don't protect the women, then you can't condemn a woman for becoming a prostitute. Right? If we don't do a proper job, then we are exposing them to become vulnerable to the sex predator. So therefore, the liability is actually mainly in men, the leaders of the world. The Vedic system is so wonderful that there is no excuses. We can't blame, a certain, a certain defect in the society because the men are responsible. And then that's why Prabhupada, he quoted what is our 4 regulative principles, and the one very important to follow, no illicit sex. Because otherwise then you will have, chaos in the society. And this is the fundamental institutional principle in every religion, Prabhupada was quoting. And then if you follow that principle, then you become clean, suchi, isn't it? Prabhupada said, suchi. The whole purpose of spiritual life is to actually become clean from this actually propensity of sex life. If you follow this restriction, then the soul becomes liberated. We become clean from sin. I remember because I was brought up as a Catholic priest in the Catholic monastery. And I was always already asking those questions. What is the cause, for us being born in sin? Why we are born? Because they used to tell us, you're born in sin. But what is this sin? And they would always say, it's the original sin of Adam and Eve. The Adam and Eve. What did you call it? Adam and Eve. That sex life. Because God said you can enjoy all these fruits on the tree, but don't touch this one, this apple. But of course that was an allegorical statement to educate children, because I studied the catechism. I meant God said to Adam and Eve, you can enjoy this world, but don't engage, in sex life. That's what I meant. But then the devil came, we call it Kali, and induced the Adam to say, don't worry, there is no reaction. Just do it and you'll be all right. And it's the most enjoyable fruit. Anyway, so that was the original sin according to the Christian original, the source of all the sins. So, no illicit sex, because otherwise the Varna Sankaras, they become manifest. And then Prabhupada said, that this is the whole purpose why we actually don't want to perform, fall down in these sinful activities, because then there will be birth, old age, disease, and death for another conditioned soul. And the purpose of spiritual life is to become free from these 4 miseries. Like, yesterday I met a Muslim family. Day before yesterday, some Orthodox Buddhist, some Buddhist. I put it on Facebook actually. They very nice, pious. There's 47 types of Buddhists. Many of them, they're Buddhist, really, because they eat anything and everything, and they engage in violence. They don't understand, the ahimsa principle. But these ones, they were really good quality ones. And so I present the Prabhupada book, The Life of a Saintly Person. And I did the mantra and everything, and then they said, what do you use the donation for? And I said, well, I had to think, something that they can relate it to. And I said, we print, in our society, we print millions of these books per year. And in order to help the society by reading them, and we help the society to hopefully if someone reads them, they will become free from these four miseries like old age, disease, birth, and death. And hence they will not come back again, reincarnate again into this miserable world. And he said, he put his hand on my head and he said, may Siddhartha bless you with peace and happiness. Yes, no reincarnation, no more. And then I said, only to go back home to Siddhartha and serve Siddhartha. Yeah, you agree with me, I said. Not becoming Siddhartha. And they say, yeah, yes, you are correct. They must have been born from Burma or Nepal, one of the two. Anyway, so that was actually Prabhupada's. For 40 years I've been using this mantra actually. It's not my mantra. People, they say, what is the success on book distribution? I'm using your mantra, Srila Prabhupada. I'm using his mantra and it works. In the Servant of the Servant, Prabhupada, in a conversation with Satsvarup, when they established the Gurukul in Dallas, they asked, what is the purpose of this Gurukul? Prabhupada said, the purpose of this Gurukul is to train these children to become free from old age, disease, birth, and death. Again, in old age, so they don't have to come back anymore. And Prabhupada also mentioned the same word. We teach them sadachar, the Vedic sadachar that he mentioned today. And then he turned around to Tamal Krishna Maharaj and he said, and that is the same purpose for book distribution, is to free the society from these four major suffering like old age, disease, birth, and death. So that's my mantra when I tell people in the street. It's a philanthropic line. Sometimes they misunderstand it. They think we are helping old people, old age, or diseased, sick people. But of course, it's the truth, but it's not the truth. But ultimately, it's the fact, it's the truth. We help by people reading these books. They become free from these four miseries like old age, disease, birth, and death. They don't have to come back to face them anymore. So, the credit goes to Prabhupada. People sometimes they glorify, what I'm doing, but the credit goes to him. Everything I know, I've learned from Prabhupada and from the devotees. So then Prabhupada, he said he went back to Sneha. And the Sneha towards Ajamil, Prabhupada, what did he say? Was it a good thing or bad thing? Yeah. Towards his child, yeah. Towards Narayan. Sorry, the Sneha from Ajamil towards his child, yes. What did he say? Yes. Yeah. Yes, yeah, correct. And Prabhupada, he said, just like the sneha of Krishna towards all the living entity, he mentioned the verse, Samoham sarva bhuteshu, name devesho stina priya. He said that he equally has these affections towards everyone. But it doesn't favor anybody specifically. It doesn't say you are a prime minister or president of a country, so therefore you are special to me. It doesn't say you are a temple president, therefore you are special to me. It doesn't say you are a sannyasi, and therefore you are special to me. Isn't it? Lord Krishna is actually impartial towards everyone. And he sees, Bhakti Prabhupada said, he's a Bhakti Vatsala. He becomes the servant of such a devotee who internally surrendered to him and serves him. No matter, his profession, the status quo, the position, the dress, the designation, whether he's a guru, he's not a pot washer or sweeper, Prabhupada disciple, non-Prabhupada disciples, a Guru Kuli and non-Guru Kuli, a guest. I've always, to be safe, this is my own realization. To be safe, that it's for me, but if anyone wants to take it, then it's up to you. Everybody has the free will. To be safe from committing any offenses towards anyone is to actually respect everybody equally. Not that, I respect more someone. Otherwise, what's the point? Why am I going out trying to distribute these books? And if I have no respect for people. And then out of respect, then there comes, that sneha, that little bit of affection. There is a soul, there screaming for help. And Krishna, point me towards these people to just help them. And that affection is in the heart of every devotee. You don't find it just, towards a sannyasi or towards your guru or towards the deities. If we don't learn to love what we see, we can never learn to love what we don't see. We don't see Krishna at the moment. I don't see my guru anymore. I've lost him 30 years ago, 22 years ago. So, but I see people. I see what is created by Krishna, what is created by God, and that's important, to learn how to love people. Little bit of sneha we can show for everybody, right? If I'm talking rubbish, please correct me. Correct me. Yes, Prabhu.
Another lecture, he explained it a little more, and he was saying that when we actually do that in the correct way, as you're saying, we care for others because they're all servants of Krishna. And Prabhupada said, when we have that kind of vision that we're loving, our family and others in our community, Prabhupada said that love goes to Krishna.
Yes.
And it's like, as you're saying that,
Yeah.
we can't really love Krishna if we're not being respectful and kind to everyone.
Thank you. Maybe your good wife was some insight. Actually, she should have been sitting here too. The organizer, he harassed me for a few texts. Are you giving this class? Are you giving? So I said, yes, I'll do it. But then this morning, they arranged for the Mataji, my apology, to give the talk. And I said she could do it. But then she didn't want to do, and I was, if I knew that I would ever come and give the floor to you. You are a senior and guest, then it's, anyway, but you want to pass the microphone to you? You can say a few words.
It's actually a really important discussion about the sneha because, like you were explaining how you have affection for the children, but you said something, it's important not to get, what did you say? Not to get, yeah, because we have this, sometimes we can misunderstand that if we have like attachment to our kids or something, that we're not supposed to have it. But we're not supposed to have the bodily attachment. It's because it's my kid. It's because they're part and parcel of Krishna and their spirit soul that we have the attachment. and, to help the person, as Prabhupada's saying, not have a useless life, to go back home, back to Godhead. So I think that it's very bewildering for people sometimes in the beginning of Krishna consciousness how to understand that sneha, so that we can do it in the right way. I'm not saying you had the wrong way, but I've noticed that sometimes people don't understand it in the correct way, that we actually do have to have affection for souls because they're part and parcel of Krishna.
When my child was born, I was very much in love with his body. And you see, something is better than nothing. Of course, more is better than something. Prabhupada actually mentioned, you're correct, there is nothing wrong for a materialist person to love, his kin, because even the cats and dogs, they do it. And it's a natural. You can't stop the flow of nature. When I say something is better than nothing, and more is better than something, is that as a devotee, sometimes we have bodily attachment towards mother, father, husband, wife, children. That's fine. But then we, at some point, like she said, that we have to understand also the purpose of life is to care for the soul inside. I'll come to you in a minute. And but there are, Prabhupada mentioned, there are some people, they don't even love the body, like you see the abortions. They don't see the soul, but they also destroy the body. They don't have a love for the soul and for the body. You can see in America, there's a lot of, I don't want to criticize, they've got this, advertisement, it's my body and I do what I want with it. That's fine. But actually, it's a God-given prasadam. Your body is not your body. It's given by God, and is His property. And whatever, the children are also given by God, and they've got the right to live. But see, they kill even the material. It's not that they're attached to it. But as a devotee, we don't kill the body. We love the body, and on top of it, more is better than something. We love the soul. We try to understand, that. Yes, you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you very much for leading the discussion. I just thought to add that Srila Prabhupada was also making a point that we actually love the body because the soul is in there. When the soul leaves, we cry because we understand this person that we love is not there anymore, even though their body is still there. So that the affection is actually towards the soul, naturally. And also I wanted to, in regard to how to understand, I also remember thinking about this point, how to actually make a balance, how to sort of, you have these natural feelings at the same time. We understand we're not supposed to be attached to different things in this world. But what helped me to understand sort of philosophically how this is actually natural to love Krishna in the pastime of Brahma Vimohana Leela, when Lord Brahma was stole the cowherd boys and cows for a year, for his moment, and then Krishna expanded himself in cows and cowherd boys. So all the Brijvasis, they, for that whole year, all of a sudden started loving their sons, and the cows, they started loving their calves even more. So this is that because Krishna is actually the soul of souls, and that's why when we actually feel even more affection to Krishna, is the most natural thing to actually feel this greatest affection towards Krishna, and this is how, that our souls are, we're eternally connected with Krishna in this way. We're his part and parcel, and we are eternally and part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the soul of our soul. And just like we're naturally trying to protect the body, we actually love our souls, and even more we love Krishna. because he's the soul of the soul. But so
Thank you.
for me, in theory, that all made sense, but then to actually get to this point, to really develop these inner feelings, the dormant love, it's it's a lifetime of like Prabhupada said, make it an effort. Thank you.
Anything else? And then we can adjourn the class. Govinda Prabhu, your Pandit, you wanted to say something? Govinda Prabhu is very knowledgeable, for those who don't know.
Just to carry on with this point, so I think it's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the Brahmana Vimohana Leela, when he's describing it, he says, the body's dear to us because it gives pleasure to the senses. The senses are dear to us because they give pleasure to the soul. And the soul is dear to us because it gives pleasure to Krishna, the super soul. So there's this hierarchy. So why do we love ourselves? It's because we're part of Krishna. And when we're self-realized, we love Krishna millions of times more than we love ourselves.
Beautiful. And on that note, Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai. Haribol.